Good morning, everybody. I'm just watching Pete's faces like this, and in the background. We can't hear you, Pete. You're not on screen yet. So, good afternoon, welcome. It's the 22nd of July. Everybody have a nice day off. We weren't on yesterday. Everybody all right with that? It was like I didn't know what to do at 12 o'clock. It was all weird. I come and sat in the chair, no one to talk to. It's just weird. That's how my day, the whole day is normally. Let's do the headlines before we get on with the show. UK considers tougher spy laws after Russia report. Ministers are set to face questions in the Commons after MPs said the UK underestimated the threat of Russia. Labour, that sounded sinister. Labour pays damage to anti-Semitism whistleblowers. The party apologies for the distress caused to ex-members of staff who spoke out in the BBC programme. And US orders China to close Houston consulate. Thank you. I'm glad I got through that without messing it up. Unidentified people were filmed burning paper in the consulate's courtyard after the order was made. So, welcome to the Bullock Businesses Banter. It's just a mouthful of words today, isn't it? That's what it is. We've got this is Wednesdays. We have a new segment on a Wednesday, and it's this. It's a little bit underwhelming without music, but we haven't had time. We haven't had time for music yet. There's Mr. Sheriff. He's there. Morning, Mr. Sheriff. And Ben, hello.
I had to hold myself down with that second trailer of music there.
Well, I was going to, hopefully when Darren comes on, I'm going to ask him to do I think it's 19 seconds music blast. It was well, the only reason I will tell you this, because all this is about movies and streaming services and everything that's on there and what we're watching. So it's a little bit of a midway point in the week where you just think, sit back, relax. I'm going to watch something on television, and not watch Pornhub on your computer. So that's where we are. That's where we are today. That trailer, the reason why that trailer had that rubbish music on there was that it was moving too fast. And so I put it into iMovie and slowed it down, forgetting that it slowed the music down. So it was, it is like that. But it's, so that's why there's no music on it. So I do apologize. So what is this all about on a Wednesday? Well, as I say, we're going to talk about some movies and we're going to talk about what's on television and documentaries and all kinds of things. Ben can bring his conspiracy theories into it. It's not a problem at all.
Nice.
Pete can just talk about whatever else he watches other than Seinfeld. Now, you did say you were going to talk about Seinfeld, did you?
No, you know what? You said water cooler moments, and that automatically starts me off with Seinfeld. So,
sorry, you can't say Seinfeld.
Walked right into it.
Got him.
Oh man. Okay.
So I've got a quick question, because I'm, the way I am as a thinker. Does fiction follow fact? And therefore, are we seeing in the movies and on TV what is actual? Or does fact follow fiction because the movie gave them the idea?
Interesting.
My head wasn't set up for that type of question, Ben. But what you're saying? You're saying that fact follows fiction.
Let's say, for example, hypothetically, of course, I watched a drama which I quite enjoyed. Jack Ryan, Tom Clancy.
On Prime. Yeah.
Anyway, so whether it's Ryan or Bourne, it doesn't really matter. We've got stories about the CIA infiltrating guerrilla movements, creating disturbance to manufacture conflict, to go in afterwards to rape and pillage the natural mineral elements, etc. So, obviously I know that would never happen in real life.
What's going on?
So you think you think they write this? Yes, I know. He gets really.
I think
whatever that is. He gets very Ben-like. Let's put it that way. So you're saying you think that the fiction writers based stuff on fact?
I think absolutely they do. Yeah, but I wonder.
Yeah, they do. Of course they do. Because just a pure straight down the line Netflix documentary. That's my dog's barking.
I was going to say, your dog barking.
Yeah, somebody at the front door. Somebody else will get it. But the Netflix, if you watch any of the Netflix true life Netflix documentaries, fact is stranger than fiction. It is. I mean, their first one, their first big one, which was the one where they put it was a bank job, and they put a bomb round someone's neck. They just took him off the street virtually, and sort of brainwashed him. Not literally, but sort of brought him into the gang and said, "Oh, you want to put this around the neck? It's not a real bomb, but walk into that bank over there, say you've got a bomb around your neck, get all the money, come out with it, give it to us." And he did. Now, they've got real footage. This happened back in the 80s. They've got real footages of the guy with the bomb around his neck and it going off, which is extraordinary. And Netflix, because Netflix don't care, just show this in the documentary. But this I mean, you wouldn't think, of writing something like that, because it was so bizarre. And all these Netflix documentaries, if you watch them, I know my avid viewer now, they're doing this type of style of going back to news reports and stuff and showing actual footage, are fantastic. So I think the short answer is yes. The long answer is what you just heard, Ben. So, yeah.
And so do you think that Hollywood and the producers in the respective fields have a duty to go and do journalism to uncover what's really going on, to make us as a general public aware of it?
Well, you're going down a different route there, aren't you, with conspiracy type of route?
Well, no, I don't think conspiracy. But let's say, for example, covert operations, CIA-esque. That's good drama, and we like watching The Bourne, and we like watching those sort of spy thrillers. But obviously, it happens in real life, doesn't it? And actually, then you pause for a minute and you stand back and say, "Really, God, they're just massacring people for a few billion of government aid," and it's a horrible thought, isn't it?
Well, it is. The world is a horrible place, and we make content for movies and Netflix and all that type of thing to take our mind. Oh, where's he gone? To take our mind off.
I am actually still here, but my camera has gone flat.
Did you not think of charging it up?
Well, I thought I'd have enough juice, but clearly not. But keep going, I'm still here.
No, it sounds like you're actually making a new version of, what was it, the Blair Witch Project. We've now gone into the darkness to see what's
the darkness. So let's just talk about what we've watched. Obviously, Ben is so busy with his career and his business that he doesn't watch too much other than Jason Bourne. We've worked out. I watched last night a film from 1996, which was called The Arrival, and it actually stars. And please feel free to write this stuff down, because it is educational as well. So The Arrival was released in 1996, and it stars Charlie Sheen. Yeah, I know it's a bit. Thanks to that, it's a little bit edgy because it's Charlie Sheen, or is it? The reason no one knows about it, it was released the same week as Independence Day, but The Arrival is a lovely little science fiction conspiracy.
You're in Australia.
Wait a minute.
What's he doing now? Oh wow!
Hanging from the ceiling.
You see, I'm not watching the screen because I'm trying to, be professional and stuff out here. Stars Charlie Sheen. Lots of conspiracy theories on this one. He's a radio astronomer. That's it. And he finds a hidden signal from a star, and he starts being attacked by the government. And then the aliens come down, and he has to unravel everything. And it is weird, and it does feel, considering it's made in 96, it does feel a little bit like the 80s. It's a weird movie, but it's well put together, and it's a great movie, and it's something which is one of those gems you can find on Prime. And it was just something I just fancied last night. I wanted something like that, a bit conspiracy theory, and it was brilliant. Very much like the X-Files. Go on, Pete.
My question to you is, Mr. B.
Yeah.
What? Oh, I got a shiny head.
He's got no hair. That's why.
Welcome to my world.
You and I have gone through this many times, but I'm interested to know what your process is, because you and I have chats about what you've watched and all that, and I watched something and you go, I gave it one episode, I gave it 10 minutes and I turned it off.
That's correct, because my rubbish star, it always works.
My question to you is, what is your process for picking something to watch? Because it's not just it's on, I'm going to watch it. Have you got like a right? Yes, it's got Charlie Sheen in it, so I'm going to watch it. Have you got stuff that's written by JJ? Maybe I'll watch it later.
Well, yeah. Charlie Sheen is not a go-to actor for me. No way. But it was because of the algorithm that Prime use. During lockdown, I was just going through and watching a load of old movies. Yeah. And it was very science fictiony based, obviously, because that's one of my prime subject matters. And then it started showing me older movies. Now, some of them are pants. Meteor Storm, absolutely abysmal. Acting's terrible. Directing's terrible. The effects are terrible. Just everything about it is terrible. Meteor Storm, get right. No, terrible. And that was a 15-minute. I watched it 15 minutes. This is not going anywhere. And then I looked at IMDb, and I'm not a big, I'm going to look at the review, because I don't believe in that. I think it's, if a film's good, then we will, we'll watch it. I don't follow everybody's critique. But that was pants. It was pants. With a TV series, ooh, it's that same type of thing. You can watch, I can watch 10 minutes of it and I'll just know this is either a repeat of another story that's been done before. It's not got enough money to pull off what it's trying to do. And that's down to direction and production and all that type of thing. And the story writing is terrible. And unfortunately, I can't give you any references because I do blank them from my mind immediately. It is. I mean, except for Lost, I was wrong on Lost.
Yeah,
or was I right?
No,
or was I?
Oh, okay, all right. I'll give you the fact that you watched Lost, and you said from the very beginning, and I'm not going to go anywhere. This lot are making this up as they go along, and I was like, no, they're not. They must know what they're doing, and you were right. They were talking nonsense. Because they basically wrote themselves into a corner, didn't they? And went, how are we going to get out of this?
And I knew that from the first series. I just knew this is not. There's no way they can finish this other than they're all dead. And that was after the second season. And guess what? After how many seasons was it? 6, 7 seasons?
Yes, I think it was 6 seasons. 6
and what happened? They were all dead. So I was right.
Spoiler alert for anybody that wants to spend 5 years.
The thing is, it's supposed to be light entertainment and switch off brain moment. So it doesn't really need to be too real.
Yes, it does.
That's about Lost.
No, there's nothing about light. But you see, TV has changed so much in the past decade that it is as important as it is telling a story than as a movie or going to the cinema, because they've brought in. Well, first of all, the people came through the ranks of TV have now gone into movie and making, like J.J. Abrams have made stellar, massive movies. But a lot of the people who make movies have come back into TV, and it's because the production value and the money that's spent because of streaming services like Netflix and like Prime. They can throw the same. They can spend cinema money on their streaming services. Typical example. Last week, sorry, Ben. No, I do. I'm sorry. Just put your hand up if you want me to stop. The Old Guard on Netflix. I'm not stopping yet. The Old Guard on Netflix. Charlize Theron came on. It's a massive budgeted film. It's based on a comic book, graphic novel. Can't call them comic books. It's based on a graphic novel. Brilliant. Everything about it is perfect, and it's great. And they spent a fortune on it. Easily could have been on the cinema. Easily. I do suspect, actually, because it was a Sony production and it was bought by Netflix, that it was supposed to be for the cinema, and Netflix just put their stamp on it, gave them $100 million and said, well, we'll add that. We made that. And then they do. And that's what they do. Anyway, who wanted to speak? Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say, I watched recently because I generally Prime or Netflix, like everybody else, and generally try to pick a series because I don't watch a lot of TV, but I like to have a bit of intrigue and a bit of a story thread. Watched Hunters. Have you seen that?
On Prime?
On Prime. Now, it's got Al Pacino in, so, you know, not unknowns. And it's a great story, obviously based on some facts. But
Nazi hunters.
Facts that we weren't aware of.
Yeah.
You know, repatriation of Nazi scientists by the Americans after the war, so the Russians didn't get the technology, but that bred a racist Nazi bias in the culture in the US, which we see evidence of. Great storyline, actually really well put together. And like you say, Matt, quite a big budget, obviously, but still TV.
How many, can I just ask, Ben, and I'm not testing you, how many episodes of that have you watched so far?
Yeah, I watched all the first series.
Oh, you've watched the whole series?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's only series 1. I don't know if they're going to do series 2.
I've only watched 2 episodes.
Well, you're a plonker. Why did you turn off?
Didn't. First of all, that first episode was an hour and a half long.
Why?
And they were like they were concentrating on Al Pacino too much, walking around, acting the socks off everything, and eating the scenery. It's just no. Unfortunately, no.
Why did you turn off?
Because the reason I've just said.
No,
it's too long.
Because the story is telling you.
No, the story is great and it's fine. And I look, you know, it's Nazi hunting and it's all that, and it's like there's a little bit of superpowers going on, a little bit of mystery, and it's right up my street. It's there. You know, it's the long street is there, and it's all the signposts are perfect for it. But it was missing something. I really don't know what. But it was me. I don't know if anybody. I mean, I can Google it, but I don't think it's going to get a second series. I don't think so.
What about The Witcher?
No,
we're waiting for the second series of that. Surely,
yes. Now, The Witcher is good.
Pete, there aren't many.
Pete hasn't watched that.
Watch this because The Witcher is, you know, is what we all want to be. Really, he's got long hair. He's got great looks. He's super fit. He's just, you know,
well, he's Superman.
Did they have to edit his moustache out of this one?
Sorry, what you say, Pete?
They have to edit his moustache out of this one.
Not this one. No, that's he didn't have to do that. But he was. That's a great series. And it's unusual for me because I'm not into sex and sandals, which I put it in that class.
See, right, wait a minute, because you and I, again, when Game of Thrones started.
Oh no, you've mentioned it. And you can't mention Game of Thrones. No,
best series ever.
Oh my Lord!
In the history of television.
That show and the other show, you said it's sex and sandals. I'm not going to watch it. I can't do it, which put me off watching it. Everyone else in the world has watched it except me. You've probably seen more episodes of it than I have.
I've only seen Game of Thrones. You mean?
Yes. Oh, hang on. Yes. You're going to set that thing off again.
No, it wasn't me. Game of Thrones, great early days. Got to the Red Wedding, and I do know my episodes, Ben. So don't scupper. I got to Red Wedding, which was spectacular, and it was graphic, and it was shocking, and it was everything that TV should be. Then it just sort of fell over, and it knew from that point on it had to end somewhere, and that's where it was being driven to. And I watched the last season. The problem is, and I'm sorry everybody. I don't like Lord of the Rings either. That's just ridiculous. Lord of the Rings pants.
I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan.
Go on, Ben. What you say then?
Fiction and fantasy.
Yeah, that's. Oh, don't you know that?
What it reminds me of. If I hear the word Lord of the Rings or whatever the prequel thing was, what was that thing? It makes me think
Prince
of
of the Rings.
Well, yeah. It always
The Hobbits. The Hobbit.
That's the one. It always reminds me of that. What's that workplace game works or something in Solihull with the?
Are you just full of those people?
with the figurines, and they play games in the just stop.
There's 30-year-old men. There's 30-year-old men in there just going, you've killed my battleship. Oh, it's a different thing. But they're just like they're moving their little things around. Well, good for you, sir.
Let's look at some other dramas. So Riviera.
That's good.
Sky, yeah. There you go.
Yeah, that's very good. Yeah, he's written these down somewhere. He's looking down on his phone.
I find recently I found some really good series on Prime and Netflix, but historically I've watched series on Sky. And some of the it's like the end of the season. You wait for the next season, so you've got a gap of 3 or 4 months, 6 months. So you then go across to Prime or Netflix, see what's there. But Riviera was really good. I like Tin Star as well.
Oh, no, Tin Star was great. You like that?
So what is it that makes a drama in your eyes then?
You talking to me or Pete?
Oh, Pete, both. What you? Because
Pete, you do this one.
It's not Sex and Sandals, is it? Tin Star.
No, I don't like it.
Tin Star I like because he's bonkers.
Yes.
And just the dark edge of it, because kind of when you first start watching it, and obviously you didn't quite know what happens in the gas station at the beginning, and then you're kind of going, "What is he? Is he nuts? Is there something in the air, or what is it with it?" And obviously, as it unfolds in season 1, you kind of understand why he's so twitchy. I think is probably the best way of describing it.
Anything with Tim Roth is excellent, because he was in a series. Is it Liar Liar? Was it?
That's my favorite.
That?
It was called Lie to Me, wasn't it?
Lie to Me.
Yeah. Oh, Lie to Me. That was it. That was it. Lie to Me. So I knew. Let me just have a look. Yeah, Lie to Me. That was just ice. And and it's because he is a great actor, and he chooses. And this is the difference between a lot of the actors you get now and the ones that play that. They pick a poor project because they do everything. I mean, Tim Roth, he hasn't done that much, has he? And so when he comes up in something, you think, okay, he's chosen carefully with this.
Yeah, he's a little bit like James Spader, and he only picks things that are a little bit kind of quirky, where he can make a mark with it.
But like you say, it's dark. It's got a dark edge, and he's good at that.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely that.
James Spader in Boston Legal is an absolute classic performance from beginning to end. It's just brilliant.
So let's just move on, because we need to do something new that's coming out over the next few weeks. Well, hopefully out for the next few weeks. We're going to see what happens with the cinemas, and we're going to run the trailer, so you can sit back for 2 minutes and enjoy this trailer of Tenet.
All I have for you is a word. Tenet. It'll open the right doors, some of the wrong ones too. Use it carefully.
To do what I do, I need some idea of the threat we face.
As I understand it, we're trying to prevent World War III.
I'm not saying Armageddon here.
No. Something worse.
I gather you have an interest in a certain Russian national.
Might just bring me in.
You really want to know?
He can communicate with the future.
Time travel.
No. Inversion.
Aim it and pull the trigger. You're not shooting the bullet, you're catching it.
Whoa. Well, I've seen too much. Well, we'll try and keep up.
Your duty transcends national interests. This is about survival.
Seems bold.
Bold, I'm fine with it. I thought you were going to say nuts.
This is where our worlds collide.
How would you like to die?
Old.
You chose the wrong profession.
hell happen here?
Hasn't happened yet.
There are people in the future who need us. We need a tenant.
We need to save them here and now.
It's reversing the flow of time. Doesn't us being here now mean it never happened? You want to crash a plane?
But not from the air. No, it's so dramatic.
Well, how big a plane?
That part is a little dramatic.
Now this, I am going to talk about this now. So just sit back for 2 minutes and let me just talk, and then I will let you two talk.
That looks brilliant.
Yes, right. Now this, I am so excited. When I found out about this about a year ago, I have been off the charts excited about this because this is a Christopher Nolan film. Now, Christopher Nolan, if you know Christopher Nolan, he made Inception 10 years ago that changed cinematic production at that point. He deals a lot with time, not time travel, just time, because he made Dunkirk, which had the 3 time streams running in it, which obviously was land, air, and sea, and each one was a slightly different, but it was told in the same story, the same length of story. It's got all the people in it that you want to see in a Christopher Nolan movie. You know, Kenneth Branagh's in there, tick. Michael Caine, tick. He's been in virtually every movie that Christopher Nolan has made. It's written by him and his brother, Jonathan Nolan. It is going to be the biggest movie of the year. But unfortunately, because of COVID, it was supposed to be released 4 weeks ago, right at the start of July. It was supposed to be about 3 weeks ago. But they put it back to the end of July. Now they've pushed it back into August because obviously cinemas are still not open, because Nolan has said this is not a film. Well, any of his films are not really designed to be seen on the small screen. Obviously, he made the Dark Knight series, Batman movies. It is just the most prolific. No, is that the word? Prolific. That's it. Thank you. Director of our time, and he's there with Spielberg, and he's there with JJ for creativity. He has massive set pieces. He deals with special effects very well. CGI he deals with very well. His imagination is phenomenal. His first film was Memento, which was a whodunit movie, and a guy had to work out who killed his wife. But the problem was, every time he wakes up, he forgets his memory. So he has to write on his arm in a pen every day as he's trying to figure out who killed his wife. And so every day it reset. That was his first movie that he wrote himself. The guy's a genius. So there you go. Any questions?
When can I see it?
Well,
we don't know.
Because at the moment they've indefinitely delayed it now because he doesn't want to put it, let it go to Netflix or whatever. There's going to be some announcements later today and probably tomorrow, because obviously Comic-Con was supposed to be this weekend coming, which is now obviously not happening. But they are doing like an online Comic-Con where one of the Hall H, and if you know about Comic-Con, Hall H is where they do the big announcements for the big blockbuster movies. There is a announcement on the small Warner Brothers live stream that they're doing about this film and about what he's going to do. So they announced yesterday that it was delayed indefinitely, but it looks like they're going to say something in the next couple of days about what they're going to do with it. But it looks pretty intense. It just reminded me, anybody with the surname Washington seems to get some, like, do you know what I mean? It's kind of, well, it's obviously going to be a hit look because the contrast is turned down a bit, so it's a little bit dark.
It's a bit blue. He always puts a blue filter on when the process. All of his movies, Inception, Dunkirk, all the same. Yeah, they've got that blue tinge to it.
Yeah.
In Washington, is that Denzel Washington's son?
I have no idea. You got the IMDb.
Sorry, I've got IMDb book here. Keep talking, let me have a look.
Okay, so I do want to talk about something else when you've come to the end of this.
Crack on, Pete. He can come back with that.
Time's ticking. Have you seen, and Matt, you may well have seen this.
Yes, it was. It is Denzel Washington's son. Carry on.
Have you seen, moving on quickly because I'm looking at the time.
Yeah, no. We get 5 minutes extra. Go on.
Between Two Ferns. Have you seen this thing?
Now, have you seen, are you talking about the YouTube series or the Netflix movie?
Well, no, I'm at the stage. Well, because I never knew this thing existed. Didn't even know what it was.
Zach Sevenakakis. I can't pronounce his name. Yeah.
This is the most bizarre. I don't know, Ben, if you've ever heard. Have you ever heard of this thing?
No, I'll go and look it up. Tell me.
Well, Zach Galifianakis, that guy.
That's him.
He, it's basically like an interview show, but it's a bit like the 70s kind of thing. It's a bit weird. And basically, it's two fern trees either side, and then they have a host on. He hosts it, and then they have a guest on. And the first one I saw was the Bruce Willis one, where Bruce Willis doesn't even look at him all the way through. And the first question he asks is, how are you, how are you getting on with your kids and all that? He said, is Ashton giving you any problems? That's where he's going with it. He's completely asking the wrong questions in the wrong order, in the wrong style, in the right show. And I've never seen it before. I take it you know what I'm talking about, Matt.
Oh, I've watched it. Yeah, it's on YouTube. Well, the series is on YouTube.
Yeah.
But then Netflix picked it up and they've made a movie out of it. I thought that's what you were going to talk about, the movie.
I've never seen it. I've just, when I was Googling it at the start of the show, just to make sure I was getting his name right, I noticed there was a trailer from December for the movie. So I thought, oh, okay, going to have to watch that then.
It's one of those where, it's a sport. It's supposed to be a local. It's not supposed to be Zach himself. He's playing himself, but an alter ego of him. And it's a YouTube channel. But that in the movie, it's based on a little TV station, basically a local TV station, where he brings in proper big stars and interviews them, but always annoys them and pees them off, basically, because he'd asked the wrong questions. Netflix picked up on this thing, thought it's got legs because it's got millions of views on YouTube. But yeah, go and watch the YouTube series first, Between Two Ferns, and then watch the Netflix film because you'll sort of understand. And basically, in the movie, he gets brought up by a major Hollywood TV channel, and they want him to take his interview show to them, and it's like a road trip basically from the Midwest to California. And it's just great, but it's just one of those cringy type of interviewing things, which is great because it makes the star really uncomfortable. And they shot the movie segments in that style.
I've got to take this call, so I'm going to have to go.
Right, but Pete, thank you very much.
No worries.
We'll see you soon. See you next Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's a thing. It's a thing now.
I'm turn this thing off.
Oh, you leave studio.
Oh, that's it.
Do you want me to bump you? I can bump you, mate. Not a problem.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye. There we go. Excellent.
But Matt, before we go, and for everyone watching and listening, the truth is, a lot of the new films, and by the way, I'm disgusted at you, Matt. We're British. They're films, not movies. However, the truth is, if you ask people best films ever, I tell you what, you're not going to get a lot of these brand new ones. You're going to get Shawshank Redemptions. You're going to get Green Mile. You're going to get A Few Good Men. You're going to get classics like that,
but they only can be classics over time.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, go and do a straw poll then. All the people watching, listening, and catching up on this. What's your top 3 films? Give us that list.
I can guarantee there'll be a Christopher Nolan film in there somewhere. I mean, obviously Inception is 10 years old now, and you can watch that. Have you ever seen Inception?
Oh, no, I think it's a brilliant film.
I mean, it's a real mind-blowing movie. But it stands up now, today. That's what I was saying, because when he made that film, it was groundbreaking techniques and everything and storytelling, which we've never seen before. So, yeah, that'd be good. So if you want to put into the comments, send us a message on any format. They all come through to us at some point, and we can read them out next week. Is your top 3 films, new and old? As Ben's saying, there's no new classics. Is that a thing?
No, not yet. Not yet.
No. Anyway, thank you much, Ben, for joining us. I hope you enjoyed that.
My pleasure. Absolutely.
This whole thing, this show, I came up with the premise for this years ago. The Did You See show, because me and Pete did a podcast 15 years ago called The World's Gone Mad. And you can see how everything's coming around now, can't you? See how everything's joined together. And that was just me and him just chatting, because we just literally chat for hours, as mates do. But we have very specific, films and TV and books and anything like that, any quirky stuff. And that's how it came out to this show. And so this is just like a normal conversation for us. And it has been all over COVID on the microphones and cameras. So, Ben, thank you very much for joining us. It's brilliant. We shall be back Friday, another day off, with the Friday show. I'm not sure the format with that yet, but, as ever, it's going to be manic. It's going to be controversial. We'll probably have a Grant's Rants on there somewhere, and Ben will be here as well. All right, we'll see you Friday. Bye-bye, everybody.
See ya.